If you can, outsource. Having a different pair of eyes and ears on your project is best for the spots you are blind to. If you can, try to have someone who knows you but maybe not too well. Family members and friends are often too nice and not experienced editors. Remember, you want it to be good, so learn to embrace constructive criticism for the sake of the art. If you're unable to outsource, or even find a friend or family member to look it over, then learn how to become your own best editor. You should always be asking yourself, if someone else was telling me this story, would I be interested? Is this piece of information needed in order to understand the end? This may result in you saving some pieces you really love for later if they don't make sense in the moment. The goal of your podcast is to have a clear story goal and to avoid obfuscating it for the sake of the audience. The audience knows when you want to talk about yourself or tangent, and trust me, they will turn you off and tangent away from your episode altogether. In writing, there's a saying, murder your darlings. Get used to the emotional anguish of killing your best pieces. I personally save everything because it might be useful in the future, but I still try to keep everything clear and concise for the moment. So if you're writing out a script, or you're interviewing people, it's best to avoid cliches. Cliches are an overused phrase that don't provide any specific meaning or visual image. They lack specificity and complexity, and they make you sound boring and lazy, which I know that you're not. Cliches make your writing and argument interchangeable with anybody else's. You want your unique voice to stand out above everybody else, so don't use hackneyed phrases like, opposites attract, or love is blind. The grass is always greener on the other side. They're not really saying anything and you sound like everybody else, which I know you don't sound like everybody else, and we want to make sure that you are being your youest you. So stop and try to think about what you're really trying to say. So then say it out loud and write it down. List the main ideas you want to convey in each sentence, and then list out synonyms in each idea underneath. Keep it simple by writing out exactly what you're trying to say and then play around with it using thesaurus. So here are some steps to being your own best editor. Once you've written everything out, print it and read it out loud. Having a tangible piece of paper will make it feel like you're reading from the audience's point of view. And by reading it out loud, you're able to hear as well as see how the piece sounds and flows together. If you have time, take some distance from it. I find that when I take distance from a piece, I allow my brain to ruminate and have ideas bounce around, and then I'm exposed to new ideas that I might have missed in the moment of writing. It's also good to talk with someone else. I'm a creative extrovert, meaning I have my best ideas when I'm talking to other people. There's something about speaking it out loud that has my brain make connections it wasn't making in the writing moment, and it helps me clarify my point when I'm trying to explain it to someone else. Then honestly, try to forget that you wrote it and attempt to be as objective as possible. Pretend that somebody you don't know sent it to you and you would critique it like you would any other piece of writing. Discern if each sentence is enjoyable because it's special to you or it's absolutely necessary for the story to make sense. A lot of editing is killing your ego at the same time. If you find yourself asking, how can I make this work? Defend why it needs to stay, and if you can't, cut it. If it isn't going to help the audience at the end, get rid of it. Your homework is to write out your first script and edit it. Avoid cliches and practice being as objective as possible.